Good evening and welcome to your Friday, May 23, 2025 edition of the Evening News. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for joining us. Let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Guyana will not be bullied, threatened, or intimidated, says Minister TODD as National Assembly passes motion to reaffirm Guyana's sovereignty. Shameful, PM condemns opposition's unpatriotic walkout, refusal to support sovereignty motion. Hinterland residents to be educated on workers' rights as Labor Ministry tackles exploitation. No quarry licenses, sand permits issued to Chinese nationals, says Jack Dio, and 1,300 Hinterland residents to benefit from 97 training programs this year, says Labor Minister. Now for the news in detail. The government of Guyana has made it abundantly clear that the nation will not be bullied, threatened, or intimidated to surrender any of its territory amidst plans by Venezuela this weekend to hold elections in the Essequibo region, which is 2/3 of Guyana's landmass. In our lead story tonight, you will hear this declaration was made by Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Hugh Todd today after he tabled a motion in the National Assembly to reaffirm Guyana's sovereignty over the resource-rich territory. Trishelle Sobers has the details.
In a resolute address to the National Assembly, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Hugh Todd declared that Guyana will not be bullied, threatened, or intimidated into surrendering any part of its sovereign territory, as he tabled a motion reaffirming national unity and support for government's position on the ongoing border controversy with Venezuela. The motion presented during the 104th sitting of the 12th Parliament on Friday seeks the legislature's full endorsement of the government's diplomatic and legal strategy at the International Court of Justice (ICJ), while strongly condemning Venezuela's recent provocations, including its planned elections for the Essequibo region and its defiance of binding ICJ orders.
While our intelligence is that there is currently no physical activity taking place in any of our communities close to the border, or suggest that there is any preparation for elections to be conducted in our Essequibo, it is important for Venezuela to understand that Guyana will not be bullied, threatened, or intimidated to surrender any portion of our patrimony.
The motion presented to the House asks lawmakers to recall the motion passed on November 6, 2023, which reaffirmed the recognition of the 1999 Arbitral Award and the 1966 Geneva Agreement. It also asks the House to unequivocally reaffirm Guyana's sovereignty and territorial integrity, condemn Venezuela's actions as violations of international law, express full support for the government's peaceful and lawful defense at the ICJ, calling the international community to uphold the rule of law and support Guyana, and direct the transmission of the resolution to the United Nations, the Caribbean Community, the Commonwealth, and other international bodies. Todd traced Venezuela's aggression, posturing, and illegal claims to the 1899 Arbitral Award, which definitively settled the boundary, but which Caracas has consistently rejected in violation of international law. He emphasized that Guyana, in stark contrast, has consistently taken the high ground, opting for diplomacy and the rule of law.
We remain committed to international law and the peaceful resolution of this matter through the International Court process. And we call upon Venezuela to comply with the court's legally binding orders and to refrain from actions that would destabilize this region and violate Guyana's territorial integrity. Mr. Speaker, today's motion is not merely symbolic. It is a reaffirmation of the will of the Guyanese people.
The government has reiterated its commitment to safeguarding Guyana's territorial integrity and sovereignty, while also seeking accountability through diplomatic channels. Earlier this month, President Dr. Irfaan Ali had assured that the Guyana Defense Force is mobilized and prepared to defend the nation's sovereignty and territorial integrity amid ongoing tensions with Venezuela. That the head of state also emphasized that security operations are actively underway, particularly in light of Venezuela's upcoming unlawful election and continued claims over Guyana's Essequibo region. Claims which Guyana has consistently rejected and challenged through international legal avenues. The case regarding the 1899 arbitral award is currently pending before the ICJ, which has already established its jurisdiction to hear the matter. Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips today delivered a scathing condemnation of the opposition members of Parliament after they walked out of the National Assembly, refusing to support the motion that reaffirms national support for Guyana's sovereignty. Here's more.
We cannot support this innocuous motion in its present form. Mr. Speaker, we urge you to come back to the table and let us work on a motion that all Guyanese will be happy with. It is for that reason this is the furthest we will go in this presentation. Thank you.
That was the moment opposition leader Aubrey Norton led a walkout during Friday's sitting of the National Assembly after government presented a motion denouncing Venezuela's planned elections in Guyana's Essequibo territory this weekend. The motion, titled Support for the Government and People of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, reaffirming the sovereignty of Guyana over its international recognized territory, was tabled by Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Minister Hugh Todd Friday morning. It sought, among other things, for the National Assembly to unequivocally reaffirm the sovereignty, territorial integrity, independence, and indissolubility of Guyana, as well as its endorsement of the government's diplomatic and legal strategy at the International Court of Justice, while also strongly condemning Venezuela's recent provocations, including its planned elections for the Essequibo region and its defiance of binding ICJ orders. However, the opposition leader in a subsequent presentation declared that they would not support the motion, which he says lacked enforcement. Norton then ended his presentation by walking out of the session and was followed by the other opposition parliamentarian, a move that was described by Prime Minister Mark Phillips as shameful and unpatriotic.
Our people are united on this cause. The only people who seems to have a difference and unpatriotic is the leader of the opposition and perhaps those who are following him. That's right. And they will be left behind. They will be left behind as we seek to defend Guyana and to develop Guyana. Mr. Speaker, the sovereignty of Guyana over its internationally recognized territory is crucial for maintaining peace and stability, not only in Guyana, but in the whole Latin American and Caribbean region. And it is important, Mr. Speaker, for Guyana's government and citizens alike to support and uphold this sovereignty to ensure national unity and international respect.
According to the Prime Minister, even Guyana's children has demonstrated more patriotism than the parliamentary opposition.
If the members of the opposition just surf social media, they will see that through the length and breadth of Guyana today, our school children at nursery, primary, and secondary levels are demonstrating the patriotism that the opposition should have been demonstrating. Our children know better than those who are paid to keep the government on its toes. They are paid as elected officials to represent the opposition. And our children today are sending a strong message to those members of the opposition that we know 83,000 square miles belongs to all of us in Guyana, resident in Guyana and in the diaspora. The only people who seems not to know that are not ready to support that are the people who just left this house.
Reporting for the evening news, Lawanda McAllister.
Despite the absence of the parliamentary opposition, the motion to reaffirm Guyana's sovereignty over its Essequibo territory was passed by the National Assembly on Friday afternoon. Recognizing that many hinterland workers often fall prey to big companies who exploit and take advantage of their lack of knowledge about workers' rights, the Ministry of Labor has revealed the plans to send trainers into various indigenous communities to educate workers about contractual obligations. Kelroy Williams reports.
This initiative, which will see hinterland residents being more au fait with workers' rights and contractual obligations, was announced by Labour Minister Joseph Hamilton on Thursday during Day 4 of the National Tushhouse Council Conference at the Arthur Chung Conference Centre. According to Minister Hamilton, hinterland residents have been constantly exploited by contractors, particularly those in the gold mining and logging industry over the years.
It's an important issue, because many Tushaus would know that you have regular labor relations issue in your community where people go out and work for contractors, or they go out and work for miners or loggers, and in a lot of instances they are not paid. Two problems I have. One, and these are real, I have had engagement with persons from many villages who said we are owed. And I would ask this simple question: do you know the name of the person you are working with the last 6 months? And I tell you, in one instance, the several gentlemen told me the man that is called Mango. So they weren't aware of the name of the person who they're working with. They weren't aware where the business place is located. And they weren't aware of the person at all. So at the level of the Ministry of Labor, we are incapable of ensuring we go behind that person to ensure that you're paid or your villagers are paid.
In this regard, Minister Hamilton reaffirmed the ministry's commitment towards ensuring hinterland workers are protected from these predators. In fact, the Labour Minister highlighted that there is readily available personnel who can deliver vital educational courses in hinterland communities.
We have, and we can put at your disposal, our lawyers and the Chief Labor Officer, who also is a lawyer, that they can have crash courses with counselors and with Tushaus, just to train you to do simple contracts, not to be a lawyer. Because the problem I have, and we have, is the employee says the man promised me $7,500 a day. And the employer says, no, I promise him $5,000 per day. If we have to take that employer to court, we can't take hearsay and he says, she says to the magistrate. We have to take evidence. So I'm urging again Tushaus to help us so that we can help your community. That we ensure that when people are leaving your village to go work with somebody, they have contractual obligations, the contractor, the gold miner. And we can help you via the legal team at the Ministry of Labor to ensure that you're trained in this regard.
Kelroy Williams, The Evening News.
Vice President Dr. Barry Jagdeo has firmly dismissed claims that Chinese nationals have been granted quarry and sand mining permits in Guyana, calling such allegations a fallacy and political mischief. Michael Henry has more.
Addressing the issue at his weekly press conference on Thursday, Vice President Dr. Barry Jagdeo clarified that all new quarry and sand permits issued between 2020 and 2024 have been granted solely to Guyanese nationals, not Chinese operators. He said some Guyanese license holders may contract Chinese companies to assist with operations, but emphasized that the ownership and control of these permits remain entirely local. Since 2020, the number of operational quarries has increased from 6 to 16, boosting stone production from under 740 tons annually to over 3.3 million tons in 2024. Similarly, sand production has skyrocketed from less than 700,000 tons per year to over 12 million tons, with the number of permit holders rising from 18 to 67, including 49 new entrants since 2020. Jagdeo said this expansion has directly benefited the public, driving down the price of stone from $18,000 per ton to $8,200 and reducing construction costs across both private and public sectors.
So we have moved from 700,000 tons of sand now to 12 million tons of sand and 49 new permit holders in the country. And I asked him, are any of them foreigners? He said no, the permit holders. So this fallacy about Chinese taking over, but many of them are buying the stone, sand, etc., operating, their trucks, etc. But the Guyanese have the permits.
Further, Jagdeo also took aim at claims of Chinese dominance in the construction sector, pointing out that none of the 40-plus contractors involved in the $52 billion housing infrastructure program along the East Coast are Chinese. A similar trend, he said, exists at Wales, where over 5,000 lots are under development.
No Chinese in the housing program on the East Coast. $52 billion with 40-something local contractors working there. We're now building a road for GPL. There are, I think, 16 lots. No Chinese contractors, $5 billion along the East Coast corridor. At Wales, we're spending $10 billion to put in housing, 5,000 house lots there. Basically, maybe 20-something, 30 contractors there. No Chinese contractors. They're all Guyanese people.
Jagdeo further explained that Chinese companies were awarded a small portion of the East Coast Road and the Heroes Highway projects, less than 10 projects of the total cost after winning internationally funded bids, not through favoritism or exclusive access. Michael Henry, The Evening News.
As the Labor Ministry, through the Board of Industrial Training, continues to equip Guyanese with the necessary skills needed to access the country's diverse job market, these training opportunities are being extended to hinterland communities where over 1,000 citizens are expected to benefit. Here is Kelroy Williams once more with the details.
The rollout of training programs in the hinterland regions was highlighted by Labour Minister Joseph Hamilton on Thursday during Day 4 of the National Tushhouse Council Conference at the Arthur Chung Conference Centre. During his presentation, Minister Hamilton reaffirmed the government's commitment towards ensuring all Guyanese, regardless of geography, have access to the tools of empowerment, specifically through education and skills training. In this regard, the minister highlighted that more than 50 hinterland communities will benefit from a number of training programs this year, a direct result of a over $220 million investment from the government.
In 2025, BATE is projected to roll out 97 training programs across 58 communities, with 28 programs already underway and 59 more pending final logistics arrangements. We aim to directly engage 1,300 beneficiaries, including 722 males and 578 females, under a budgeted investment of $221 million. in Region 1, 7, 8, and 9, and the riverine communities.
Moreover, the minister revealed that programs have not started in several regions due to a lack of skilled personnel. On this point, Minister Hamilton highlighted the importance of a selected trainer being a person who lives within these communities.
Because for us, our first stop when we're looking for a trainer is to ensure that someone from the village is the trainer. We don't want to import trainers into your village. Importantly, because the monies that will be paid to the trainer, we want it to be residing in the village and not bringing people into the village who, when we give them the check, they will change it in Georgetown and you will not have access to that.
Additionally, Minister Hamilton also highlighted the significant progress that BIT has made over the years in training hinterland residents.
From 2020 to 2024, the Board of Industrial Training, we were able to train and certify 2,144 residents from across Region 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 in key occupational areas. Just to name a few: electrical installation, heavy-duty equipment operation, welding and fabrication, agro-processing, photovoltaic maintenance and repairs, small engine repairs, and ICT.
Kelroy Williams, The Evening News.
Do stay with us. More news ahead.
Did you know Guyoil's Super 95 gasoline has an octane rating of 95, the highest rating available in Guyana? This premium fuel is known to enhance the performance of your engine, making it run smoother and more efficiently, leading to better fuel economy and improved performance. Choose Super 95 for more mileage and better overall performance.
The Ministry of Education wishes to announce that the Because We Care Cash Grant and the Uniform and School Supplies Grant will begin distribution from May 12, 2025. Please note, however, that distribution will begin later in May and in some cases June for certain regions. Therefore, we encourage all parents and guardians to consult the published distribution schedule to confirm when their grant will be available.
So, what's been given this year?
The grant has been increased to $55,000 per child. This includes $50,000 for the Because We Care Cash Grant and $5,000 for the Uniform and School Supplies Grant.
Who qualifies for this grant?
All public and private school learners from nursery year 1 to grade 10 who are registered and attending school are eligible. In grade 11, only students who will register for CAPE grade 12 in September qualify, along with current grade 12 students who will be continuing to grade 13. For children entering nursery this year, they must have been registered by March 28, 2025.
How do I collect the grant?
The parent or assigned guardian of the child can uplift the grant at the child's school. Just make sure to bring a valid form of ID, your national ID card, passport, or driver's license.
What if I don't have any of those IDs?
No worries, your identity can be verified by a senior official in your community, such as the school's principal or village tushaw.
Suppose I can't go myself to collect it. What then?
You can authorize someone else to collect the grant on your behalf.
What happens if I miss the date?
If you miss the scheduled date at your school, a later collection date will be announced, but this will only happen after the national distribution is completed, so it's best to collect it as scheduled if possible. Got more questions? Check the Ministry of Education's social media pages or contact your child's school for more information. In service to you, because we care.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. Vice President Dr. Bara Jagdeo has issued a forceful call for heightened enforcement against the importation and sale of fake medical supplies and expired goods in Guyana, warning that such practices pose serious and irreversible health risk to the population. Speaking during his weekly press conference on Thursday, Jagdeo criticized the government analyst Food and Drug Department for what he described as insufficient action and oversight in monitoring the local market. Let's have a look.
But it speaks about the government analyst Food and Drug Department and fake medical supplies and drugs coming into our country, which could immeasurably and irreparably harm a lot of our people. And they need to really step up on this. This is a department that needs to really do much more work. They need to do much more work.
Fake and substandard medical products have long been a concern in developing countries, and Vice President Dr. Bara Jagdeo's comments follow mounting reports and consumer complaints about expired and counterfeit goods being sold in local supermarkets and pharmacies. Jagdeo's remarks underscore the government's growing concern about regulatory lapses and call for urgent and decisive intervention to restore public trust in consumer protection systems. He specifically pointed to criminal practices in which some importers allegedly tampered with expiration dates on products to prolong their shelf life, endangering public health.
We have food near expiration date that comes into this country, people changing the expiration date. I've had personal experience with this, with a lot of the beverages that they come in, and then some of them illegally, criminally change the expiration date. They need to take strong enforcement action.
The Vice President added that authorities must ensure no one receives preferential treatment, whether local or foreign, when it comes to compliance with laws meant to safeguard public health. Kelroy Williams, Evening News.
The Ministry of Agriculture is addressing the overproduction of cassava within Region 9 by exploring strategies to market the cassava surplus, aiming to create sustainable income streams for farmers in the region. Michael Henry has more in this report.
Following reports from the Tushao of Whitewater of overproduction of cassava within Region 9, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa has announced that his ministry is addressing this surplus by exploring strategies to market the cassava surplus, aiming to create sustainable income streams for farmers in the region. This initiative was highlighted during the recent National Tushao's Council conference.
Cassava being the main staple in the hinterland community. We are working in Region 9, we have worked with the region and the Ministry of Local Government to set up a processing facility to process the cassava. We will work along with the other regions in the country in future to set up these facilities. Because last night I was having a chat with the Tushao from Whitewater. He told me that they got a lot of cassava and they don't know what to do with it.
According to the minister, this move to market the cassava will involve exploring whether the communities in Region 9 can produce cassareep and cassava bread with the overproduced cassavas, in which after the government will purchase these products from them.
Because they can only use an amount. So I was just working to see how we can market the cassava. I told him, look, if the community can make the cassareep, we will look to purchase the cassareep and also the cassava bread, so that the community can get the market clear from that. That is what we'll be doing. So we will ensure that in the various hinterland community, we must not only plant in a small subsistent way. We can do it for our community, whatever we want to use. But if we want to go and do things for large-scale marketing, I will ensure that our technical officer work along with your community so that we can concentrate on one or two major crops, large-scale crops, with the Ministry of Agriculture will work along with you to help you to develop that crop so that your community can have an economic project from agriculture coming out of those crops. And we will work with you, help you to nurture it and grow it, and also at the end of it, find market for those produce.
In recent times, Guyana has faced challenges stemming from an overproduction of rice. To address this issue, the government had committed to securing new export markets. Michelle Henry, The Evening News.
A fire suspected to be electrical in origin this morning partially damaged the house at Mount Sinai, New Amsterdam. Our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael joins us with the details.
A house located at Lot 4, Mount Sinai, New Amsterdam, Berbice, Region 6, that's East Berbice Quarantine, was damaged by fire on Thursday morning. At the time of the blaze, no one was at home. 5 persons, a couple and their 3 adult children, resided at the property. As a result of the fire, the 4-bedroom, 2-story building was partially damaged. There was extensive damage to the upper flat where the fire is believed to have originated. Initial investigation suggests that the fire was electrical. Divisional Fire Officer Clive MacDonald said it took the firefighters about 4 minutes from the time they received the call to arrive at the scene.
When the first crew arrived, we observed that this top floor of this structure fully engulfed in flames. Immediately we went into action to stop and suppress the spread of fire. The next crew came on the Timor's Dam that is on the other side. They also went into action to stop the spread of this fire. Presently, as we speak, the crews are investigating to ascertain the cause of this structure. And if you were to look at the remains or the building that is left standing, due to our quick response and invasive action by crews, stop this further destruction of this fire.
How long it might have taken you to get this under control from the time you arrived?
We received the call at 8:50. First tender arrived 8:54. Within about 2 to 3 minutes on average, because I was standing out in the compound of New Amsterdam and we observed the smoke. And then based on when the crew arrived and the smoke that I personally looked at, I recognized that the fire is under control because of the fire dynamics. Based on the smoke that I saw from a distance, I was aware and have the knowledge that this fire is under control.
One of the things we hear from persons, the fire service came and they didn't come with water. You came with 2 tenders. What were you able to do different? Because I heard praises for the fire service today.
Great, thank you. As we speak, we come with 2 tenders, approximately 500 gallons of water, and we able to contain and control this fire with that, with those water that within those 2 tenders. The tender is just behind us, behind you. It's almost empty. The other tender, after we got this under control, the other tender used 3/4 of the tank supplies and returned to station ready to respond just in case of another emergency somewhere. We would hear these calls that the fire tender come without water based on what persons would see. You arrive on a scene with the small tenders, 400 gallons of water. Building well consumed, depends on the distance and all of that, well consumed by fire. Buildings threatening, they might be nearby sewers, there might be a hydrant, right? 400 gallons of water pumped at 250 gallons per minute.
For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
Fidamar Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Saturday, May 24, 2025 at 1:55 for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is scheduled to be closed to vehicular traffic at 14:20 on Saturday, May 24, 2025, also for a period of 1.5 hours.
Abiola Jackman strikes gold in Ecuador and Windies go well but rain dampens second ODI. These stories and more coming up in this evening's sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp.
Tough dirt and grime? Not a problem with the DeWalt 2100 electric pressure washer, available now at sylviesonline.com. This compact yet powerful pressure washer delivers 2100 psi for deep, effective cleaning. It comes fully equipped with a turbo nozzle for stubborn grime, multiple nozzles for precision, a soap nozzle for detergent, a 25 feet hose for extended reach, and an easy-to-handle wand. Perfect for cleaning cars, patios, and more. The DeWalt pressure washer combines power and portability in one. Find it now at sylviesonline.com. Don't wait! Visit sylviesonline.com today and bring home the DeWalt 2100 electric pressure washer. Power, precision, and performance in every clean. sylviesonline.com, your partner in product.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.